The second concept is that development for one may not be development for the other, or that people have conflicting development goals. Now, for this concept, you have to remember here the development goal is one. In the previous slides, when we saw or we took the example of a landless rural laborer, or we took the example of a prosperous farmer, or we talked about a girl from a rich family, they were different people and they had different development goals or they had different aspirations. But when we talk of conflicting development goals, or what is development for one may not be development for the other, we will be taking into consideration for one goal only. Goal will be the same, but there's going to be a tug of war, that is two different categories of people will be in conflict with each other. So that is called that people have conflicting development goals, or development for one may not be development for the other. What may be development for one may not be development for the other. We can better understand this concept by taking the example of the Sardar Sarovar Dam. Now, Sardar Sarovar Dam was to be constructed on the river Narmada, and it was a very important and a very ambitious project. Now, as you're all aware, dams are very useful for controlling floods or providing water for irrigation or for even fish keeping, pisciculture. But this dam, which was to be constructed over the river Narmada, and the people of three states, that is Madhya Pradesh, then we have Gujarat and Maharashtra, were to be affected. The government wanted the construction of this dam, but that came into conflict with the people living there, who had to be evacuated from there. Now, for constructing a dam, the government requires a lot of land, and this land had to be taken away from the tribal people living there, from the local people living there, and they had to give up their homes, they had to give up their livelihood, because they were the ones who were grazing in the nearby areas, or they were some kind of people, the farmers, and they were also the dairy farmers who were even selling their milk and milk products in the nearby area. So they had to be evacuated. So now the goal is one, that is the construction of the Sardar Sarovar Dam. Government wants it obviously for development purposes, but that came into conflict with the development goals of the Adivasis or the tribal people there. So this is an example of people have conflicting development goals. Here again is a question from NCRT. Here there's a picture on the right and a newspaper report on the left. First, look at picture on the right. Look at the picture on the right. What should be the developmental goals for such an area? Here you can see a very high-rise building in the background, and just there you can see the slums. So maybe the development goal of such an area could be that the people who are living in absolute poverty, they get some livelihood, they have some schools nearby so that their children can go and study there. Maybe they want some clean drinking water, they want the availability of maybe electricity, maybe they're looking for some kind of even sanitation and toilets nearby. So this is the developmental goal of the people who are living in the slums. Now on the left side you can see there's a newspaper report. A vessel dumped means threw 500 tons of liquid toxic waste into open air dumps in a city and in the surrounding sea. This happened in a city called Abidjan in Ivory Coast, in a country in Africa. The fumes from the highly toxic waste cause nausea, that is vomiting, skin rashes, fainting, diarrhea, etc. After a month, 7 persons died, 20 in hospital, and 26,000 treated for symptoms of poisoning. A multinational company dealing in petroleum and metals had contracted a local company of the Ivory Coast to dispose the toxic waste from its ship. Now, This is happening in most developed countries. They are getting the contractors to dump their waste material, plenty of plastic, into such developing countries or underdeveloped countries. Here we have the example of Abidjan in Ivory Coast. Now, who are the people who benefited? The MNCs benefited. What are MNCs? MNCs are basically multinational companies or multinational corporations who have their offices or networking in many countries. So they benefited. They're very rich and powerful organizations, and they have a lot of money, so they benefited. Now they could not get rid of this waste. They could not dispose of the waste. The laws in their countries are very strict, so they fill up the ships and they ask some contractors, they give them money to dispose of their waste. What should be the developmental goal for this country? The development goal of this country should be that they should become aware of the pollution caused by the MNC, and they should ask their government, they should put pressure on their government to make such strong or such strict laws which will not allow the MNC or the powerful countries to cause environmental degradation in their own country. Income is a very important criteria for measuring development, because until and unless people do not have income, they are not able to buy the various products, they're not even able to buy the basic necessities. However, besides seeking more income, everybody obviously wants to earn more money or wants more income. People also seek things like equal treatment, freedom, security, and respect from others. They resent discrimination. Resent means they don't like. People may be discriminated upon on the basis of their caste, their color, their religion, their language, their being males or females. Nobody likes to be discriminated. In some cases, these may be more important than income because material goods are not all what you need to live. I'll give you a very small example. If it's a lady, she's working somewhere, she's getting good salary, but suppose the employee asks her to move somewhere else. Suppose they tell her that we are shifting our factory or our office to some other faraway place. We'll give you more salary, or we'll give you a hike, or we'll give you a promotion. She will not like it. She will not go to that place, because where she's working right now, maybe they're paying her less than where she's supposed to be posted, but at least it's close to her house. She's able to look after her children well. She can easily move up and down. She can easily go to the office and come back home when her children need her on time. So, in this case, what is happening is that income matters, but not so much. There are other things that matter: closeness to the house, job security, she's comfortable there. So, besides income, other things also matter. Money is important. Money is required by everyone. But money in your pockets can buy you everything. Is this statement true? No. This statement is true only to some extent. The money that we have in our pockets, or the money that we have in the bank, all our credit card, our debit cards, all plastic money, they can only buy us materialistic things. They can help us to buy us a house, maybe a car, maybe some jewelry, but they cannot buy us non material things that our life depends upon. Our life depends upon some material things, and it also depends upon some non materialistic things. Money cannot buy us the non materialistic things. It cannot buy us happiness. It cannot buy us an environment free of pollution. Now, money can only help us to get rid of corona once we get it, but money cannot prevent coronavirus attacking us, or it cannot prevent us from being safe from the coronavirus. Now we are coming on to the concept of national development. National development is a comprehensive term which includes improvement in living standard of the people, increase in the per capita income. Per capita income is the average income per head, providing social amenities. Amenities means all the benefits like education, medical care, social services, etc., to the citizens of the country. Under national development, a country uses its resources in a fair and just way. National development means ensuring that the rich do not get richer and the poor poorer. resources should be distributed in a fair manner, resources should be distributed properly, then it depends upon the potential or the capability of a person as to what heights in life he's able to reach or what he's able to acquire or accomplish. Under this, only those programs and policies are implemented which would benefit a large number of people, not for the benefit of a few people only. Under national development, countries focus more on social infrastructure, which includes education, health, and other social services. So, basically, what did we see today? We saw what is meant by development. We saw how people have different development goals and how they have conflicting development goals. We saw that development for one may not be development for the other. Then we also saw that money in our pockets can buy us everything, but that statement is only true to an extent. Money can only buy us materialistic things. It cannot buy us happiness. It cannot buy us an environment free of pollution. It cannot even buy us peace of mind. Then we also saw that the different development goals of different people, like that of a girl from a rich family or a rural landless laborer or even a prosperous farmer. In today's lesson, we also saw how some very powerful and rich countries or some very rich and powerful multinational companies are getting rid of their waste and they're throwing it or dumping it on the seashores, or they are sending it into those countries which are poor, but their countries governments are taking up their waste because they're getting some kind of economic aid from them or some help from them.